Number 13 on the calendar, the matter of Charnovsky versus Aaron. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Charnovsky, you rented a room to the defendant in your home. Is that an apartment or a house?
Apartment.
And you live there with a child?
Half-time.
How old is your child?
4 years old.
Boy or a girl?
He's a boy.
And according to your complaint, the defendant owes you $300 in rent, and you're suing him for $5,000.
Right.
Order.
You have a counterclaim because you say she damaged some of your property when she illegally evicted you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you want her to pay you back for all the money that you did, in fact, pay her for rent.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so how much was he supposed to pay you each month?
$450 plus deposit.
And what happened that caused you to evict him?
Dale had agreed to many terms prior to entering the apartment, none of which he followed through upon. He agreed to pay half the rent, half the utilities, his share of the phone bill, to pay a deposit to treat my child with respect and to keep the house clean. And he did not comply with those requirements. And also, throughout his living in the apartment, he displayed behavior which was very scary to me. And after I asked him to leave, he began to threaten me.
And you asked him to leave. How long had he lived there before you asked him to leave?
It was about a month and a half.
So how much rent was owing at that time?
He owes me for 21 days in the month of March, which is a total of $305.
Okay, and what happened when he was evicted in March?
Dale had agreed to leave within 60 days after my initial conversation with him to leave. When I asked him to sign a document stating that he would leave at that time, he flew into a rage and began to threaten me. Dale refused to leave at the time that he said he was going to leave. And then we made a new plan saying that he would leave on the 15th of March. On the 14th, I said, "Are you leaving tomorrow?" He said, "I'm not leaving tomorrow. Now leave me alone." And he scared me to death, Your Honor, and I had...
So what did you do?
3 times during Dale's stay in the house, I called the police, scared for my life, scared for my...
No. Mr. Charnovsky. So you took his things and you put him outside?
At that time, absolutely. I did. I felt afraid for my life.
Okay. And you came home and found all your stuff outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Ronat? How come you didn't pay March's rent if this happened on the 14th of March?
Your Honor, we had, when agreed for the 60 days notice, the first night that the police had come up, I had later found an arrangement in which I could probably move out on the 15th of March, 15 days later. I approached her, I said, if I could move out within 15 days to alleviate the stressful situation, I said, would you be willing to absorb the half a month's rent that I would normally pay in order for me to move out quickly and alleviate the situation?
Mm-hmm.
She said, absolutely not. She said that was unacceptable. So I said, fine, we will go back to our 60 days notice. I went back into my room.
Okay, but you were living there at that point, March 1st through the 14th, rent-free?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Now tell me why $5,000. I have $305. Where do you get $5,000 from?
So I said Dale did not pay any of his bills.
What bills? Phone bills? What else?
Phone, Department of Water and Power, gas company, cost of cleaning because he never cleaned.
Strike the cost of cleaning.
One day I found him drunk in the bathtub, naked, and there was vomit throughout.
That's a lie.
In the bathroom, it was covered with vomit, and he had broken a candle holder of mine that cost $50. So the total, if you would like to see it, Your Honor, is $575.
I still don't get to $5,000, madam.
When I asked Dale to leave, he would fly into rages, Your Honor, and he shouted at me numerous times with his finger in my face, "Things are going to get really nasty around here."
I mean,
That is a
are
lie.
you telling me? Shh.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I find it very difficult listening to lies.
Well, you have to stand there, sir, until it's your turn.
Okay.
That's why I would break into tears.
Just listen to me. What you're telling me is you want $4,500 for your emotional stress. For your emotional stress, for your child's emotional stress. Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
Wrong. Be ridiculous, madam. If everything worked out fine, then you would not have a problem. Then he would still be your tenant. Things weren't working out. You should have looked into his background a little more carefully, investigated a little more carefully if you have a child before you take a stranger into your house. You didn't. It didn't work out. Now, you violated the law by putting his things out on the street. And the police, I'm sure, told you that you had no legal right to do that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to have to absorb, because you did the wrong thing, certain things, including your emotional stress. Now, you certainly were living there March 1st to March, let's say March 15th. That's a half a month's rent, right?
Yes.
You owe her for that?
Yes.
Sure, you do. So you owe her $225 for half a month's rent. Now, you're suing her for, everybody's got these big numbers, a lot of zeros, $2,500.
That's an overestimation. I didn't have an exact
so-
measure at the time.
Let me hear, sir, what things of yours were destroyed.
Well, actually, I brought a couple of the items. A lot of them are irreplaceable, things that I can't estimate value. So,
Like, give me an example.
I have a figurine from Walt Disney that's about 40 years old. That was given to my grandmother, and it's broken in half. I have numerous CDs that were placed in a bag that had sand in them, and they were just placed in there by themselves without the case. They're just scratched, and I can't play them anymore. I have a lamp that was a gift, and it was
No.
flattened.
I'm the part-time manager of the building, Your Honor, and I watched as everything was brought downstairs. And as the manager, I can tell you, nothing was broken. Not one thing.
How do you,
as a matter of fact,
just a second. Tell me, where were you when the things were brought down?
here are the stairs, here's me.
Okay. And were they brought down as individual things, or were they in a bag?
Some individual and some in a bag, and I looked through everything as they were bringing it down to make sure that nothing was broken, and she had asked me to do that, and I was happy to comply with that request.
So you looked through every single thing
Every single thing.
that was brought down, and you saw absolutely nothing broken.
Absolutely nothing broken.
Well, let me ask you this question, sir. When the things were put outside, they were left outside overnight?
Yes.
Did you watch them all night?
My apartment building overlooks them, so yes.
Are you telling me you stayed up all night to watch these things? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm a writer, so I have different hours, so I sleep during the day sometimes. But my car is also parked back there, so I do keep an eye on the building. As the manager, it's my responsibility. And because his things were out there, and I did know Dale, I did take it upon myself to make sure that nobody came and stole things. So the answer to your question is yes.
So you're telling me that you watched these bags, whatever they were, plastic shopping bags,
Unless I have
all
to go
night.
tinkle, then I went to the
Well, maybe
bathroom.
you were- Listen to me. The two of you have a problem. And your problem is that you don't know how to put a period to the end of this rather unfortunate tenancy. He owes you $225 in rent. Your emotional distress you're going to have to learn to live with. You, however, did the absolute wrong thing and put his things out of the house and left them outside, unattended, overnight. Absolutely the wrong thing.
May I make a statement, please?
Sure.
Your Honor, he told me that if I went through the eviction process, that he would stay for 60 days.
Which is his legal
Actually, I
right.
said 6 months.
Just listen to me, Ms. Chernovsky.
Fine, 6 months.
That's
And
his
then-
legal right.
And Your Honor, and then he was threatening me with my child present. Whether
Ms.
it sounds
Chernovsky,
funny
stop
or
being
not,
so dramatic, madam.
it scared me to death.
Well, what I'm telling you is if it scared you to death, you have to pay for it. You did something that was illegal. You cannot take his things and just put them out of the house. You can't do that. But clearly, he's out of your house now. He's out of your life now. I assume you're going to be smarter when you rent to somebody else. But you have to understand that you can't just say to somebody, you're going to leave when I tell you. Because once he moves into a place, he has certain rights as a tenant. And I can understand you being fearful for yourself. I can understand you being fearful for your child. But that once he's out, I think you're nuts to come to court to sue him. Nuts. Because if you were really afraid of him, Ms. Chernovsky, and if he was out of your house and out of your life, you would not have sued him. Because that doesn't make any sense if you were really afraid of him. So your lawsuit's dismissed, as is your counterclaim.
Thank you.
You're even.